Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. I want to thank everyone who's been commenting, subscribing, liking these videos, help me get the least viewed films up with more views. That'd be amazing, folks. So the latest TV show that I want to review here is Bosch Season 2. Bosch Season 3 is going to come out sometime this year. I think it's February or March. And then it's already been renewed for Season 4. This season was based off another set of Connelly novels. Season 3 will be based off of 2 different novels. The primary source being one and having some inspiration from another book. Season 2 starts 6 months after the events of the waste case and everything else that happened in Bosch's life. And Harry Bosch, played by Titus Welliver, returns to duty, ready to work and eager to play, I guess. He finds himself in the murder case of Tony Allen, who was a local porno producer. He also happened to have ties to the mob. Bosch then finds himself heading to Vegas, where he learns that Tony was Armenian, had a brother who was also in the mob, and he finds out that the Russian mob has sort of moved into Vegas, replacing what was once the historic mob, I guess, and that the Armenian mob in some way has aligned themselves with the Russians in Las Vegas. And though the Russian mob is not doing the usual cracking of knuckles and burying you in the desert, basically. Alan's brother was laundering money through Alan's production company. Alan was stealing money up to, we eventually realized it's $4 million here, folks. Bosch happens to run into a local FBI agent, Jay Griffin, played by John Marshall Jones. Now, he's the usual FBI agent in most of these things. It's like, steer clear of what I want to do and stick to your aspect of the case, basically. Here, he recruits Bosch's ex-wife of trying to help down this agent who went undercover in the Russian mob in Vegas. Unfortunately, the results for him, he disappeared, obviously, which means he's buried somewhere in the Bloody Desert. Second story in Bosch Season 2 involves George Irving, played by Robbie Jones. He's the son of Irvin Irving, played by Lance Frank, who's the deputy police chief. He goes undercover for IA to investigate a ring of dirty cops, and this will help him on the fast track to management and obviously within the police department here. It eventually comes to the realization, though, that this gang is run by Carl Nash, played by Brett Sixon. He used to be a police officer retired on a cloud of suspicion, even though it ends up being that the suspicions were actually true about him. They did some really not very good things. His ultimate goal is to run away with Veronica Allen, the wife, yes, of deceased Tony Allen, and I guess they're in cahoots with wanting to steal money and place all the blame on the mob for Tony's death here. Unfortunately, Carl finds out through another one of the people who was in this gang that George is a rat. Carl orders him to be killed. They make it look like a gang robbery in sort of a local deli. But Officer Eddie, who's played by James Mason, is genuinely distraught over his death. Realizes too late that Nash has framed him. If he ever goes to the IA, he'll frame him for the murder of George. But unfortunately, Irwin and Bosch work him over, and they also tell him, hey look, the people that you knocked over at that one stash house, they're some really bad dudes. Eddie and Nash come to fully realize that, but then again, Nash then orders Eddie to be killed, which leads to more profit for them. What Nash doesn't realize, though, is that Veronica has double-crossed him, and is now pinning the blame on him for her husband's murder here. This all leads to a shootout between the Armenians and Nash and his gang for collecting the money that Veronica wants, but apparently is not there because Tony had a mistress on the side and he wanted to marry her, and she ran away with the money. And for 2 principal players, so this all leads to a shootout in a marketplace. This all results with Nash running away, and all but one of his crew did, along with some of the other mob figures, they're killed as well. And how all this resolves out is pretty interesting. There's also a third story here involving the mayoral race, in which Irving is willing to stifle the investigation over the tape of whether or not who released weights from his shackle, in which they're trying to figure out, okay, if this guy was actually telling the truth from season 1. After his son is killed, he's beginning to have a change of heart. Here's the thing, I like the Lincoln Lawyer novel. I haven't read any of the Harry Bosch stuff. The problem here is that season 2 really has less that noir feel and more of like, okay, we'll throw stuff in from Connelly's novel, mix and match and see what is together, because season 1 generally had a dark feel to it. The villain was actually interesting. Season 2, okay, it's the Russian mob. Okay, that's well and worn. We also got the subplot of the Tony Allen's girlfriend Layla, who, again, that's resolved in unremarkable fashion. We also get the bookends section, I guess, of Harry Bosch's mother's murder, which, again, resolves in a neat and tidy way unless they really want to do something with it for Season 3 if they ever do. I do like this season. I think Jerry Ryan makes a great femme fatale. I finally given some work to actually do it, though again, the shine of the first season is sadly missing. I have high hopes for Season 3. So folks, what did you think about Season 2? Did you happen to like it? Did you not care for it at all? What's your favorite Michael Connelly novel? As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. If you want to see this handsome face again, please press the subscribe button. I'm always able to answer questions. I'll see you next time, folks.